view area. Now it wants to know which area you want to see. I'll say I want to see what's happening in the 24, my favorite area, and I'll push enter. The first area it will show me, it'll tell you I'm 1 in the 14, but it'll show you the first area 24, and then you'll see the information in the 24, and the areas that surround 24. So you can sit in any particular area by pushing view areas, and you want to check what is happening in area number, let's see, area 11, 1 shows up, and enter. Now it tells me what is happening, not only 11, but the areas around. But sitting from Victoria Park and elsewhere, I cannot book into any of these areas, but I can drive toward them. You know, if I drive south, I decided to move, I'm going to go in the 12, there's no car in the 12, so I'm heading south. As I go past the boundary, I will book into 12, and once I pass the boundary of the 12, I will book in the 11. Okay. Next button is send code. Now, every one of you will get a piece of paper. That piece of paper would say number 1, code 1, cancelled at the door. Code 2, the passenger doesn't have any money. Code 3 might say the person is too drunk. Code 5, I require a flat rate. Code 6, address doesn't exist. Code 7, there will be several codes on a piece of paper which you will have in your possession.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Now, if you want to send any of those codes to the office, you would push this button, send code.
Send code.
And let's see, I want to see send code number 2. I'll enter the code number right here and enter.
Okay.
Now, code 2 right now is programmed to say customer didn't show up. So on my screen, on my dispatcher screen, or the supervisor of the office will show up, car 2 says the customer didn't show up, and the office will deal with the situation accordingly. Whatever the code that you send, it will show up. The code sheet will also say, the code sheet, there will be a code for I need a voice. It will also say emergency voice. So there will be several codes. You will be supplied with the piece of paper. The idea is to minimize talking to the supervisor. Use the codes whenever possible. Okay. The next button is pay APP. This button is not for us, doesn't do anything. Then again, next one is the messages. How the messages work is, for example, we send a message to 1527 car, call your daughter, this is the phone number. The message will show up here, while in here, and it'll stay there for around 10 to 15 seconds, then it'll disappear. You may have a passenger in your car, or you're driving.
Maybe also car.
Yeah, you're out of the car. Now you want to see what your message was. If you want to see it again, by pushing the message will take you to your message log, and it will list all your messages back and forth, and then you can browse through your message. And this is how the main screen works. This will beep, and on top it says job received, touch here to accept, any other key to reject. Any of this blue area that you see, if you want this order, you can push here. That's when you will actually see the order. If you don't want this order for any reason, you can push any key in the black area, it will reject this order. The order will disappear from your screen. Okay? But if you do nothing, if you don't accept, don't reject, this will beep for about 12 seconds. And after 12 seconds, it will reject it for you. Okay, now one thing I want you to know, that whenever you reject an order like this, the system will automatically suspend you for 5 minutes. Automatically. There's no dispatcher involved, nobody's involved, it's an automatic suspension by the system. Because there is only one reason to reject an order. Only one reason. That reason is if this thing is buzzing, and somebody is flagging you down.
Yeah,
No, if you want the pickup, you don't want this order, reject it, no problem. Take the pickup. By the time you take the pickup, clear with your pickup, the 5 minutes are off and no harm is done. Now this order has disappeared, I would go to jobs and I will go back to this order. Now once I get the order, I can read it, this is the time the date that the order is received, the time that the order was taken, name of the person, from, this order came from 105 Rowena Drive, Scarborough, bus number 708. There is a note which says assist. So make sure you read the whole thing. And this will also give you a Pearlie's map reference. If there's a Pearlie's map reference, it will give you Pearlie's map reference. As you can see, when the order is on the screen, this menu is changed. You don't have the same menu as before. Okay. Now, you don't need to book in and out because you got an order now. It's time for you to go service your order. The first button here is tag customer. The first button. The tag customer is useless. It has no relevance. So it's meaningless in our business. Next order is view previous. If you want to see, it changes. Next order is view previous. If you want to see the order you did before this order, by pushing this button, it'll take you to the order before. The next order, you want to see, view your next order by clicking next, then it'll come back. It'll go reverse from before to the newer one. This is, the next two buttons are directions for pickup, directions for destinations. Both of these two buttons have no relevance in what we do. They're basically disabled. Next button at the bottom is call out. We don't have it, but we will take later on as you're driving input from you. What basically a call out does is once you push call out from our office, it dials the telephone number that we have on this order. If somebody picks up the phone, a recording plays. This is Able Atlantic Taxi, your taxi is waiting outside. Or whatever we want to say in the recording, whatever we want to convey on the recording. And if there's an answering machine, it'll say the same thing in the answering machine, the busy, and so on. That's all it does. But we don't have it at the moment. Later on, based on your input, we might. It's gone back, I'm going to push on the jobs. Next one is a request telephone. If I push this button now, it tells me that I gotta wait 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The phone number you will not have the phone number right away. In our case, from the time you get that order, the time you can get the phone number is 6 minutes. So when you get an order, you drive to the order. In any house, you must knock on the house. We don't want people pulling in front of the houses and instead of knocking on the door, calling them. You must knock on the door. Do not call the customer. Calling a customer is the last resort. Okay? Not convenience. You go knock on the door. If you don't get any answer, then phone. Okay? So you got to wait that time before you can get the phone. The next button is no show. Now if I push this Rowena no show, it will tell me that I got to wait 2 minutes and 42 seconds. You cannot book any order no show unless at least it's 10 minutes old. It will tell you just like that. If after a minute you push it again, then it'll tell you got to wait 1 minute and so many seconds. Okay? But in some circumstances, you would be allowed to book your order no shows. For example, you went to the house and the person says, well, I'm canceling the cab. I'm going to give my son the ride myself, so I'm canceling the cab. They haven't called the office to cancel, but they told you we're canceled. In that case, there will be a code in your sheet where you can push the code 15, cancel at the door. Then I will see this message. Then I would send you a message, okay, book a no-show now. I will waive that no-show time for you. At that time, you will be able to book your no-show. But the problem is, if the recall comes from the customer that, hey, I didn't cancel it, then there's a problem. But you cannot use this because you're out of patience. You must wait that time out. okay?